This episode is brought to you by regret and bad choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, really, this is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And yeah, we're running. Well, technically, I'm an hour ahead of the game because I'm in Mountain Time. But yeah, we're 4 minutes off.
Right.
Not that it matters, but hey,
Right.
we had one of those rare pre-meetings that we had to talk about some shit. So. Yeah, shit that you people don't need to fucking hear. That's what it's.
Guess what? I didn't need to hear it either.
Right. But it had to be said. So you know whether it needed to be heard, it's a different story. But it had to be said. There's a different story. So, but yeah, I'll talk about it more. But it's fucking weird, man. It's a little after 5 o'clock here. Obviously in the old Mountain Time, and I'm thinking about it. I'm going to leave at like 8 a.m. tomorrow, because I'm heading out to Phoenix tomorrow, and with check-in time and stuff, it's about 7-8 hours, whatever it is. But that'll put me in right at 3 o'clock if I leave at like 8. So I'm like, God, I can get done with this, do everything I need to do, probably watch TV for a couple hours, and still get a good night's sleep.
Nice.
I'm like it's a fucking dream. But last thing. I'm too far south and west to be this fucking cold, though. I'll tell you that.
That's all I saw that post. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. It was. I've got everything. I'll explain it later. But I'm looking out I see it. I'm like, fuck, because I saw it in the forecast that it was snowing. But again, I'll explain that later. We got more important things to get to than my ABQ rambles. That's the other thing, by the way. I think people can't fucking spell Albuquerque. That's why. That's why everyone says ABQ. And I'm one of them. Every time I tried to type this shit out as I'm doing, because I'm trying to put together this post from all the running around I did. Every time I come across Albuquerque, I'm like, I get it wrong. I mean, it autocorrects me every time on my computer. I'm like, how the fuck do you spell this goddamn thing?
Right.
I'm like, it's ABQ. That's it. Thank you, airport codes.
Right.
All right. For now, enough of my rambling. Do you have a reading?
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone's gotten used to our reading. It's a brand new year. We're not giving up that shit yet.
Right. Exactly. All right. I do have a reading. Give me a second here. I'm friggin' tired. All right. And I don't want to hear about your weather either, because we'll get into that. When you get into yours, I'll get into mine. Okay. But here we go. This is actually from Keep It Simple. This is from a couple days ago, and I liked it, and I marked it, and here we go. He who is swift to believe is swift to forget. Abraham Joshua Herschel. Life is full of, by the way, I looked him up. He was a rabbi, civil rights dude. Seemed like kind of cool guy. And plus he's a Polak Jew, so he couldn't be all bad. All right. Life is full of questions. Many people tell us they have the answers. We have to be careful of who and what we believe. Other people's ideas may not fit us. The program doesn't tell us much about what to believe. It teaches us how to believe. How well the program works for us depends on what we believe and how well we live it. When we face all the facts, we can really believe. We believe we are powerless over our addiction. We believe we must and can change some things in our lives. We believe we can trust a higher power to care for us. When we choose to believe, we want to choose the best beliefs we can. And once we believe, we must not forget. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me to know you and help me to know the truth. Action for the day. Today, I'll think about my first step. Do I truly believe I'm powerless over my disease?
Oh, that was it? Shit.
That was it.
Yeah, and that's a funny part. And I always forget that when you read the Keep It Simple ones, the Keep It Simple actions are usually shorter than the God
Right.
Grant Me ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've started, usually when the action comes on, I started unmuting right away. So so I can talk, after you're
Sure.
done. But this time I'm like, oh, you just started the action. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. So we talked a little bit about the first step,
Right.
last week, obviously, but I think that's a resounding yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because what did it say? What does it say?
I'll think about my first step. Do I truly believe I'm powerless over my disease?
Let me think here for a minute. I would say yes.
Yes.
And then we had January 6th come up obviously this week on Monday too. Which, again, if January 6th has nothing to do with all the political hubbub and shit that happened a few years ago or whenever the fuck it was. It's a reading in the 24-hour book, and even Matt from Sober Friends did a post on it.
Right.
And I saw a couple of people actually posted, which was, on Instagram, which I don't remember seeing that last year. So it was nice because it's I don't know. I think people could just Google, 24 hours a day, January 6th, and probably see the reading. And if you have a couple of minutes, do it, because it's a backbone of, well, it was a backbone.
I want to try that again.
I wasn't speaking. I'm going to start speaking now. Okay. For us, it was a backbone, or the backbone of our program, obviously from the start. But it was fun to see other people say the same thing this year, and not just Cleveland people on Facebook from our group, just random fucking people that were posting about it. But it was great,
Absolutely. And if you don't know, January 6th, when we were at the Keating Center, when we did our meditation every morning, we read out of the 24-hour book, and we read whatever that day happened to be. And then when we were done, we read January 6th every day.
Yeah, and it was it literally became ingrained. And when Mike and I, and if you've listened to us and listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you'll hear us every once in a while say "not today."
Right.
And that was the end thing. Can I forget it ever for a minute? Blah blah blah. Even for one day. And we ended that reading every meditation time every morning with "not today."
Not today.
So we say that all the time. Hey, you gonna go, I don't know, fuck a cow? Well, not today.
Not today.
You're gonna do this, that? Not today.
Not today. Right. Generally, right. Negative things. Anything negative, is that going to happen? Not today. I ain't saying it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it sure as fuck probably happened in the past, but not today.
Wait. You probably fucked a cow in the past? Let me write this one down.
It's a possibility. Anything's fucking possible.
Yeah, that's true. And I get drunk a lot in Wisconsin, so shit. I did black out every once in a while. I could
actually, the odds are more in your favor to be fucking a cow.
Okay, let's change the subject.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, that cow was the best fuck I ever had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was talking about her cow. Oh, Jesus Christ. But unfortunately, and I don't say the word unfortunately very often, but yes, unfortunately, the odds are more likely that I would have fucked a cow than you, just by sheer numbers.
Exactly. Weren't a whole lot of cows in Detroit.
Yeah, but more than likely I would have fucked a block of cheese, because it's the cheese state, So
right. Put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds.
Okay, Swiss cheese already has holes in it, so
hey.
Hello. Okay, well that degenerated
very quickly. All right, so
back to the reading, but so swift to forget. I mean, that's one of the things to begin with, and the way the reading was of something to remember and then swift to forget, which I know it's something we heard again from the beginning. That we as people in recovery and alcoholics, drug addicts, that sort of thing, are usually quick forgetters. We learn something. The reason we have to do this stuff and repeat this stuff over and fucking over again is because it literally goes in fucking one ear and out the other.
Right.
And we're like, oh, everything's fine. I'm good.
Absolutely. Right. Exactly. Wake up in the morning, take a look around and go, hell, shit's pretty good. Maybe I'm not an alcoholic.
Right. Maybe my life is manageable. Let's try this. And later that day, like you said, you end up, in the quarter with a needle in your arm. So
exactly.
Yeah, and
my dick in a cow.
With a dick in a cow and a beer in my hand.
Right.
No, at that point I probably have a bottle of Jack and my dick in a cow and a bottle of Jack. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't even imagine what our episode title and pictures are going to be. All right. But anyhow.
All right. So. Yes,
quick forgetters.
Apparently. But the reason I chose this reading was about the belief thing, I mean, it is, it, for me, the reading spoke about the higher power thing and things that we believe and what we believe. And I thought the key phrase in the reading was, the program really doesn't tell us what to believe, which is one of the beautiful things of the 12-step program. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever Anonymous you happen to belong to. It doesn't. I mean, all it tells us is we have to believe in something. We have to believe in something other than ourselves, something greater than ourselves, which isn't too tough to find because it's just, I'm a garden variety drunk, man. I'm just this one dude sitting here. There's plenty of shit that's bigger than me, and that's something I had to learn because, God knows I thought I was king of the fucking world. Stumbling down the driveway with my pants around my ankles. King of the fucking world. Right.
I stumble and fall better than everyone.
That's right.
But I mean, it's funny that you brought that up because that's exactly what that's like right in the middle of the things I wrote down, and I put like a little star by it, how to believe,
Right.
And that is, it doesn't, the steps, I mean, or suggestions. It was something that just one of the readings over the last couple of days talked about
it was
that.
Today.
It might have been today. Yeah. It was talking about the steps and the fact that they're suggested. And I almost kind of set that one aside, but it was kind of a long thing. And I'm like, we'll end up. It was kind of general things that we usually talk about anyhow. But I'm glad this came up because it is. They don't tell us, you have to. All the steps are suggested. Right. I mean, if you want, get what we get, do what we do, type of thing. But but again, how to believe, and not saying that you have to believe in this, but giving us the ability to find a path on our own, and having somebody in the Keating Center tell us you don't have to believe in anything, just know it's not you, which is exactly what you just said. And then over time, I know both of us, and you've developed, I think, a more specific idea of what your higher power is. Meaning love and all sort of things. It's at least a semi-tangible thing.
Right.
I have no conception, but I don't need one,
Right.
If somebody said, if you want to live, you need to draw a picture of your higher power down. I'm like, just fucking kill me. I can't, because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a who. I don't know if it's a what. I don't know if it's a thing. But there's forces. There's something outside of me that helps me manage my life, and whatever it is, I don't need to know what it is. I have to put a fucking picture. I don't have to walk into a building, where there's a steeple on top, and that's where my higher power is, which is a beautiful thing because I could be anywhere in the world at any time of the day, and I have my higher power is with me, which is kind of, it's comforting,
It is. And I mean, you hear real early on, especially people, struggling, they'll say, use the group, use the program, use whatever. And you know what? It's funny when I started, actually kind of tried it and it wasn't working all that well, for me. And now, 14 plus years into this thing, using the group and using the program really works well for me.
Right.
Because it is tangible, and being whatever, man, being an atheist and not believing in magical, mystical, blah 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 blah. I need something tangible to go, yes, look at this thing that is more powerful than I am. And the group, the program, again, that building, well, it's in the basement of the building with the steeple on it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Right. I mean, yeah, you said draw a picture of your higher power. I draw a fucking church basement with a bunch of scumbags sitting down there drinking coffee,
Yeah.
and my picture, they'd be smoking cigarettes because there'd still be smoker meetings. Because that's paradise to me, baby.
But yeah, and I'm trying to think if and I don't remember. I may have used, the group to begin with it. I mean, this first up until whatever point that Dan said that, or whoever said that to us. I don't remember if that was a week or 2 weeks into it, or when it was 2 days into it.
Right.
I don't remember what I did up to that point, but
held on with your fingernails.
Yeah, but not even.
Right.
It was fucking cloudy and aimless, and that's exactly what I was. I was cloudy and aimless.
Right.
But the other thing too is that when I talk about, coming home from a sobriety standpoint, it's Cleveland, and
Right.
that's my sobriety home, my sobriety birthplace, if you want to put it that way. And coming back to Cleveland, getting together, whether it's it's a poker game, or we go out with a bunch of people, or we
Right.
end up at a meeting, or whatever the deal is. I mean, that's me getting plugged back in. But as you were saying, that's something tangible. And I thought about it. The readings I do every day. I mean, Instagram and whatever. That is what it is. I mean, granted, there's a purpose with this stuff, and there's sober people, and I post readings, blah, but that's not me kind of like plugging into a recovery thing. It's doing those readings every day, and then this, but those readings every day, that's hugely important. And again, I've said this a million times. It literally takes me no more than 20 minutes, 15 usually, to do my readings, but at the most it takes me 20 minutes. And that's reading, 4 little readings out of 4 little books, and that's it. And it grounds me, and it plugs me back into, in the morning, it plugs me back into, hey, motherfucker, you're a goddamn drunk, and you need to do this shit. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, side note, I'm actually really enjoying Touchstones, that book. And the thing with it is, it's supposed to be geared towards men, and every once in a while there'll be a line that says, as men we do this, but it's not guy this, man. It doesn't talk about penis or balls or anything like that. It doesn't say, gentlemen, grab your balls, we're about to do a reading. Nothing like that.
Well, that's just implied.
Right. But it's usually just like one line when it talks about, we as men, or something like that. It's almost like reading some of these other books, that has the word God in it, but even less, but they're really good, just solid readings. And it's something different,
Right.
Just a different thing that I don't know, was on that other book, nothing wrong with it. A Day at a Time is the one I was reading, and I enjoyed it, but it was 3-4 years, something like that.
Sure.
So, just, it's something fresh and original, and God damn it, I like it.
Cool. Well, it turns out I have a copy of it. I found it the other day. Yeah. So eventually I will dive into it myself, but not this year.
It's enjoyable. It really is. So, I wrote down, oh God, can I read this? How well we live our lives. I wrote that down, and then choose the best beliefs. That was after I wrote down, obviously it was the how to believe type of thing, but then how well we live our lives was in there. That was one line, but I mean, that's true. We talk about that all the time. I mean, it's one thing just to, once again, from the Serenity Prayer to the Our Father, we can show up, and we can put on our quote unquote Sunday best, and go to a meeting and act nice for for an hour or however long it is, but yeah, how are we living our lives? I mean, it's important, right?
Right, exactly. And I mean, and we find those beliefs, we find those truths, our own, well, not necessarily our own truths, because my own truth is all fucked up, but find the truth or the truths, and and then live them. Don't just go, I believe this, and then fucking act some other way. That doesn't work. I have to take these beliefs and like it says, believe them and know that they're the truth and live by them. And if we do that, we got a shot at this thing.
Right. Yeah, actually, I believe what you're saying is actually doing the work. Just getting the information is not enough. We've got to take the action, do the work, do all that stuff.
Put it in practice.
Right. Which I mean, and that is, we've talked about this before, but it still blows my mind a little bit, and I get it now. I mean, obviously, being brand new and people talking about working steps, and I'm like, how the fuck do you work words? I mean, they're
right.
How do you work a step? I didn't understand that concept. I'm like, I can read it, I can learn about it, but how the fuck do you work it? But then, again, all those things come into play because as soon as all these steps and all these things that we learn, again, whether you're a 12-step person or not, these things that you learn on a daily basis as you're getting sober and, as you're continuing to stay sober, they get ingrained in your life, and that's you working your recovery. It just it's the same goddamn thing, So yeah, we've got a book that lists out 12 different things, which quite honestly, yeah, I've said it before. Even if you're not a 12-step person, I would guarantee 80% out of those 12 steps, what 9 of them, 10 maybe, 9.5 of them.
Sure.
Even non-12-step people, you're doing those on a daily fucking basis, and you don't even know it.
Yep.
So working and taking the action the whole bit.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, yes, that is one of the wonderful things about the program is it doesn't say what you have to believe. It just shows you how to believe in something that's truthful and bigger than you and good. And yeah, it's all wonderful stuff, man. Why wouldn't you want that in your fucking life?
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't want it in our lives for how many fucking years?
Because we were goddamn idiots.
Yeah, that's for goddamn sure. Because we were drunken, fucking drugged up idiots, is what we were, right?
Yes. Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you. So anything else from the reading, or do we about beat it up?
I think that covers it.
Okay. So, all right. So since we talked about weather already, so tell me that you said you don't want me to talk about my weather. First of all,
right.
The only reason I brought it up is because I'm in fucking New Mexico. I'm like 2 hours from the goddamn Mexico border, 3 hours maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's really fucking close to Mexico, which is supposed to be hot, and it's not hot here.
Right.
It's in the 30s, and it snowed. The biggest thing, and literally why I posted that, is that I got this weather warning because these places I'm going to, I'll usually put it in my weather app so I can see what the weather's going to be like as I'm going in and out of these places. But literally, I get this alert. It's like, oh, winter storm something or whatever, winter warning or weather warning. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Now, granted, they said some of the higher elevations, the mountains, shit like that. Yep, snow, worse, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, maybe up to an inch of snow, but watch for icy conditions and traffic this and bundle up and frostbite. And I'm like,
frostbite. Yeah, that was the one that got me.
I swear to God. And the funniest part was by the time it was whatever day it was that I posted that, I think Thursday. Yeah. It was Wednesday when the warning came in. I should have taken a screenshot of it because I was fucking laughing. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't really happy with the fact that it was that cold because I'm in the fucking Southwest and it's 25 degrees or 30 degrees, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it snowed a little bit. It dusted up my car and got on the sidewalk a little bit. I mean, it looked like something that happens on a random Tuesday in like May in Cleveland, or Wisconsin.
Exactly.
But yeah, you guys got some weather by you, right? This whole storm that's coming, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of snow. Never is over on the west side. I've said that before, but yeah, it was. It was 14 degrees this morning. It was, yeah, it was fucking cold.
Yeah, and I think today, literally, when I got up today here, it was like 25. Which that's the coldest that it had been. But so again, side note here, the place that I'm in, first of all, very cool. It's kind of it's a loft where the bedroom is. So the bedroom and bathroom are upstairs. It's not an open concept loft, but you can see. And you probably saw the pictures, but so the stairs go up, and you can see obviously coming down that way. So the living room and kitchen is on the first floor, street level, literally right. It's a busy-ish street, but not bad. It hasn't been that noisy. But the weird part is, and I didn't notice it, I wouldn't have booked it. There's been a handful of other places I've looked at in different areas that have concrete floors. And it's not like a shitty concrete, it's a finished concrete, but it's a concrete floor in the living room. And however the heating system's set up in here, it's really fucking cold downstairs and it gets really fucking warm up here. So basically what I do is I set my work stuff up upstairs towards the back, first of all, so I can look out. I like having lights, so I look out the back part, but get myself away from the street too, just from the noise. But had I set up downstairs, I would have been fucking freezing, because I would have been literally by the wall, by the front door. It's not set up, I don't think, for this type of weather.
Right.
And I'm guessing in the summer, it's probably the other way around. It's hot as fuck downstairs and cold as fuck up here, because, the thermostat's right in the middle of the living room. So basically what I have to do during the day, I turn the heat down to like 62 down there, so it doesn't kick on up here. And then when I go down to eat, stuff like that, I turn it up to like 68 so it warms up. And then before I go to bed, like an hour before, I turn the heat down again so I can go to sleep and I'm not sleeping in a sauna.
Right.
Again, it's not a complaint. It's just the heating system's weird. It's kind of it's an older type of building, but quiet, comfortable, no dogs. First time in a long time that I haven't been in one of these areas around dogs. No issues. I like it. It's been comfortable. It's been really, really nice. But yeah, it's just it's weird because of the temperature thing. That's all.
Yeah, whatever.
One last thing. So, and this is me being my alcoholic self. Okay. So the one night, I came up one morning. I came down because I run the dishwasher at night. And you could see that there was like food spit up in the sink, a little bit, just remnants of whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? And usually, what that means is it's the garbage disposal side, and that backs up, and the dishwasher kicks it back up. So I went to put on the garbage disposal, and it just buzzed, and I'm like, oh fuck, Other side of the sink works fine. That drains. So I know it's not the pipe, it's a garbage disposal. But literally, I'm like, what can I do so I don't have to call somebody, call the host and have somebody fucking come in here?
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to be bothered, But finally, it was like the next day, I'm like, because I'm like, I wonder if it just clears itself, whatever. Nah, it didn't. And so literally, she's like, okay, I'll have a maintenance guy come in. I'm like, I'm working, but I'm upstairs. Just have him come in. I don't care. I swear to God, he was here a minute. She said basically what he's got to do is probably just reset the garbage disposal. And I heard him come in, and I heard like crank, 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 crank. And there was no tool for it, but I know how to do that. It's at the bottom of the garbage disposal. You just twist it around a little bit, and then it'll run. And then he just walked out, and everything's fine. But literally, I'm like, what can I do so I don't have to have this fixed? Because I don't want anyone in here.
Right.
But then I'm like, I'm going to get fucking blamed for it.
Right.
So anyhow, but so what I looked at though, I mean, it looks like from the weather standpoint that there's some big storm. I think this area of the country where I am, and then going to the west, I think is the only area of the country that's not expecting snow.
Right.
So that's coming up like next couple of days, right?
Yeah, we're supposed to get a little bit over the weekend, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was
no frostbite and 32 degrees, so it'll be all right.
Right. And
not as bad as you have it down there.
Well, and for me, of course, it wasn't bad. I'm only complaining because it's like if you went to Mexico and it was 30 degrees, when you guys were visiting there, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on here? It's 30 degrees is fine in Cleveland, but it's not supposed to be fine. It's not supposed to be fine when I'm here, so. But anyhow, that's part of my. I don't know. It's been nice. It's been nice one way or the other. I like it, and
good.
I'll tell you a little bit more about the running around I did the other day. But it's fucking beautiful. I know you've driven through this area before. Have you spent any time in this area?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
So
it's been a real long time since I've been through there. So yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I got two other things I want to tell. Some about my stuffed upness and my little running around, but that's I just didn't know if you'd ever spent time here. I knew you've obviously been in here. All right, so when we got done with the podcast last week, I'm not going to bring up the person's name, but you brought up somebody that is back out, and it made me think of something that we haven't talked about, relapse in a while, and I don't know. I mean, it's again, we just talked about, forgetting things and, being quick forgetters and all those different things. So,
right.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it wouldn't hurt to have, again, a brief talk about relapse, your opinion, my opinion. I don't even know. There's no way to fucking prevent it. There is, but there isn't. There is. I mean, there's ways to prevent it, but I don't know. So your opinion on relapse, Mike, over to you.
Well, as my friend Bill can attest, relapse is not a part of sobriety. It was part of mine, absolutely. But again, I've talked about it plenty of times. I wasn't doing the work, and so I had no choice but to relapse. Bill has been doing the work since he got into this thing, and hey, guess what? He hasn't fucking relapsed yet.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, once we get into this thing, and once we start back to the reading, getting some truths in our lives and some beliefs in our lives, we can't forget those things. Because we've talked about it plenty of times, man. We don't have a choice. When we do that first step and we say we're fucking powerless, we're fucking powerless. We're always powerless. I have absolutely no power over my disease. None. I have choices today. I could choose to do what's been suggested of me to keep me from taking that first one, but I could choose not to do those things. And if I choose not to do those things, then I don't have a choice. I thoroughly believe these things. Right. So, yeah, I mean, relapse. I mean, I understand, 30, 60, 90 days. Trust me, I understand those because I've done them plenty of times. There was a cycle in my life at one point, over about a year and a half, where I was in and out, and I could get to about 90 days, and that was it because I wasn't doing any of the fucking work, really. I was just kind of hanging around sobriety, and I'd make it about 90 days, and then I'd fucking take a drink because I had to. But so I understand early on, you're not really grasping it and not really doing the thing, and you go back out because you have to. But 5, 10, 15 years, and people go out after that amount of time. And we've seen it, and we know what happens. They stop. Right. They forget. They stop believing that this shit works. They start believing that they have some sort of power, and bites you in the ass every time. But the main thing is they stop. That is the simple answer to relapse. They stopped working the program. They stopped working their program. And if, I stop working my program, I'm going back out too. I don't want to go back out, so I will continue to work my program today.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad you brought up the yet part. And here's the cool part for me. When I thought about this, the topic of relapse, and before you had said it, I 100% it being truthful, and I didn't think about myself. The fact that I haven't, and I'm glad that I don't think about that because I don't want to. I want to, but I don't. I'm extremely proud of it, but it also. I'm not leery of it, but I'm respectful of the fact, of what I need to do. Anytime I've ever brought it up, whether it be in a conversation in front of a group of people at a meeting or anything like that, to this day I have not relapsed yet. And same everything that you just said. If I know I don't even think I know for a fucking fact because I've seen it. Same thing you just said. If I stop doing what I need to do every single day, I will drink again. And I don't think, like we've talked about, even jokingly, it could be if I consciously made a decision when we hung up these microphones, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing any more of the work. I would immediately walk out and buy a bottle because what's the fucking point?
Right.
And I don't think if it happens to me, I don't think it's going to be a gradual thing because my program, and I know because we talked about both of our programs have changed and maybe lessened in certain areas, but gotten stronger in other areas.
Absolutely.
Stronger individually, I think, where we don't need, the group and the meetings all the time, which is a good place to be. But also we've never strayed from the foundation, from the basics of what we learned from day one.
Right.
But it's a little unnerving, because the realizing that it's that, is it that simple, right? That all I need to stop doing is, stop praying, stop going to meetings or being around the group, the group and being plugged in, stop helping people when I'm asked, stop doing the things I need to do. And I'm going to relapse. And that's crazy, when you really think about it, that it can be that simple. But it's also on the other side of things, having that be that simple. It's like, well, Jesus Christ, all I have to do is this, and this. That's it,
Right.
And not only will I not, if I'm doing all the work, I got a goddamn good chance, like you said, of making this thing work and not drinking again. But I also have a fairly decent chance of living a fairly decent life,
Right.
and not just existing and not just taking up space and all those sort of things. Maybe making my little corner of the world a better place.
Yep.
But yeah, you know what? It is, and I think that the folks that do, get to the the 5 and the 10 and the 15 and the 30 years, to me, it's got to be, either, yeah, like you said, just stopped completely, maybe gradually, or got a case of the fuck. It's like, fuck it, man. I've been sober for 30 years. I can deal with this.
I can handle it.
Yeah, I can handle it. And I don't know, maybe I can handle it for, but I'm not willing to take that chance.
No.
Maybe I can, climb across the side of a mountain and not fall too, Odds are I'm going to die.
Right.
The same goddamn thing as if I take a drink.
I could jump off my roof and flap my arms real hard and maybe I'll fly.
You know what? You'll be fine. It'll be okay.
I can handle it. It'll be okay. I'll just flap them really hard and I'll fly.
Can you add me to your life insurance policy before you do that though? I mean, just no offense, but might as well,
right.
If you're just gonna fuck around like that, I might as well cash in on it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the biggest thing, and I love the fact of everything, or every time we talk about this, it's you simplify it even more. It's just that people go back out when they stop.
They stop.
Yeah, just the word that stop. And if you think about, well, what do you mean stop? Just think about it. What do you do to stay sober every day? Stop doing all of that, or even part of it. I mean,
yeah, that's stop believing that, I can't fucking handle it. Stop believing that, I'm a goddamn alcoholic. And once I start, I cannot stop. I have no control. Right. Yeah. That we just start fucking lying to ourselves. And that's why we have to be around this shit. And yes, maybe not be in a goddamn church basement every fucking night. Of course not. But be around and be a part of a sober community, whatever that is, however that works for you, to have people around you to remind you, no, asshole, you don't have this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think too that I'm fully convinced that even though, like you and I, when's the last time that we saw each other? June, I think.
Yeah, something
Was
like
it
that.
June? Yeah, because we usually get together Thanksgiving, but that didn't work out.
You were here. You were here in like I don't know, when the hell were you last time you were here?
I led for you. I led for you September.
Yeah, September.
August, whatever it was. Yeah,
September.
Okay, so still, 3-4 months ago, whatever it was. So, but I'm fully convinced that even if we were only meeting on this as we do, once a week, that I think you could pick up just by hearing my voice if I was fucked up. I mean, I don't mean drinking fucked up,
right?
But I mean just if something was wrong, I think you would pick up on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And same with me to you. Exactly. I got on here and I'm like, right. The fuck is wrong with you, man?
Right. And don't get us wrong. Before we hit the record button, a lot of times both of us are like,
oh yeah,
most
of the time.
Yeah. It's long weeks and it's tired, and we we both have full lives outside of this. We're not self-supporting.
No.
We're
self-supporting through our own contributions.
Self-supporting through our own podcast. We do have full-time jobs that can have, they're not bad jobs, but they can have stress to them, and there's life and everything else. But once we get into this shit, but that's what I mean is I think that it would be easy enough, even not being around people, I think you and I could pick up on that sort of thing with,
Right.
with each other. So that's a good thing. But, even when, when we get together, I think that it's easy enough to pick up on if somebody would be, again, if you're fucked up, if it's not, and I don't mean, again, not drunk fucked up or high
Right.
fucked up, but it's just, getting to know people. And that's the key is, if nothing else, there's accountability. Being around somebody, I think my kids would be able to figure it out.
Right.
Kathy would be able
Exactly.
to figure it out.
Yep.
I think even just general friends that I've met,
Mhm.
over the last few years that I've talked with and spent any amount of time with, I think could figure it out if I changed,
Mhm.
and that's that accountability that is also important. And I think that, again, stopping all that stuff, being around people, going to meetings, doing your readings, doing whatever it is that you do to stay sober.
Right.
If you stop, not always, most cases, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah. No, in my case, I will be. And that's, again, selfish and self-centered. That's all I fucking really care about.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, you and I, absolutely. But speaking to the
Right.
you collectively out to, the 4 people that listen to us.
Hi there.
Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. But yeah, people in general, I know I'm fully convinced, that it's again, whether it's 20 minutes or I don't think I'd make it 20 days, with
no.
before I was, before I fucking ruined everything. Because once again, I made the decision years ago. And I mean, I was probably 2-3 years sober that, that I'm like, if I ever, God forbid, if I ever stop and I relapse, I'm not fucking coming back. I can't,
Right.
I can, but I can't. And that's the egotist, because a full blown fucking egotist, narcissist person's going to blow up in me again. These are all the things that I'm keeping at bay by doing all this work, is all that shit's going to come up, and I'm going to be like, fuck it, man. I cannot show my face to anyone anymore. So I'm going to go someplace and I'm going to drink myself to death.
Right.
And that's what's going to happen. I have no illusion whatsoever that it's going to be any different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, and as somebody who has been around the rooms and relapsed, and I mean, I went back out for 10 years, man, and came back. But I mean, it wasn't, I did, when I was doing that, the 30, 60, 90 day shuffle there for that year and a half, I was walking back into the same rooms. And, again, and we've seen people go out and come back into the rooms that we were in, and we know that, despite what you're saying, you walk back into the room and nobody's giving you the side eye and nobody's going, oh, look at that fucking piece of shit. Because we all understand, and you hear it, and I certainly mean it. Glad you fucking made it back, man. Now don't leave again.
Right.
So I mean, if you're listening to this and you're struggling or whatever, and whatever, maybe you did fuck up, and I don't know why the hell you're listening to this if you fucked up, but maybe you're trying to come back. Good for you. I'm glad you made it back. I'm glad you're listening to this. Get your ass busy, do the fucking work, and you don't ever have to feel like this again.
Right. Yeah, and I hope, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because I always say, like, when I've led and stuff like that, and I've said that openly in leads, is that for people who have relapsed and come back, amaze me, because I just there's something inside me that I don't think would allow me, and it's not because of the fact that I know that people are welcome back in. I've welcomed people back in, so have you.
Right.
And yeah, when people come back in, people are welcome back literally with open arms. And I realize that, but the problem is that I know how I was before I quit drinking.
Right.
I know where my mindset was, where my, again, egotist, narcissist, all those different things. It didn't fucking matter what love or attention people would give me. Fuck them. I was on my own. And the problem is that, again, if I stop, I know it's not like I'm going to ease back into that guy. That guy's right there. They always say, out in the parking lot, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Doing push-ups, man.
I believe that the guy that I was is still there, and it's going to pop back out, and I'm going to be the same fucking asshole, dickhead, egotistical, narcissistic motherfucker, and I'm not going to give anyone a chance. I mean, fuck it, I'm on my own, But I mean, I'm glad that other people are not like that, because people literally that that have the ability to come back in and swallow that pride, which you don't even need to do it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens. Mike just said it a little bit ago. We don't have a choice. And even though I know that, doesn't fucking matter. And I'm not saying I'm special or a different breed. I just think I know myself. But these are other reasons. That's the huge reason.
Right.
I truly believe if I drink again, it's not a question of it. I'm going to fucking die, and I don't want to do that. Not only that, because I won't care about that as much. I don't want to hurt all these fucking people.
Right.
I mean,
that trust you again and built all that. Right. You built so much back and it better. Right. You have so much. All the relationships and stuff are infinitely better than they ever were. And why you want to fucking burn that shit down?
Right. Yeah, because all I'm going to do, we've seen people, people die and all that stuff, and the wake that it leaves behind, the wreckage. I don't want to do that. At that point, I wouldn't care about myself, but God, again, family, friends, my kids. I mean, holy shit, it would just it makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about it because, yeah, exactly, having the ability to have that sick feeling. Again, 15 years is not a long time, but it's long enough. To almost 15 years to feel that. I love the fact that hasn't gone away.
Right.
Because, shit, man. I mean, it's I need that. I never, again, don't want to regret the past, but you don't want to shut the door on it. I always going to keep that door open a little bit, like, yep, it's still a fucking mess back there.
Oh yeah,
that's a tragic mess out that door. Like Beetlejuice, when you open the door and end up in the desert with a fucking snake trying to eat you. That's
the sandworms.
Yeah, the sandworms. God, you say it's snake, but yeah, if anyone wants to know what our life is going to be like if Mike and I start drinking again, watch either one of the Beetlejuices and then watch them walk out the door. So that's what our life is about. So, all right. So, have we beat up the old relapse horse enough? Or
we have.
Okay, don't stop. That's all.
Yeah, don't stop. Exactly. Keep fucking going. Keep doing the work, and you'll get the results.
Right. But on this note, though, I think we are going to stop for a minute, right?
Ooh, dangerous shit. Well, but we will be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober, Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone, welcome back. And that's dangerous. Yeah, but we were only stopping for a minute, so I think we're okay, right?
Sure. I'm still here.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the funny part is right below the relapse thing. I had a note from a podcast. What motivates you to keep doing this whole sobriety thing? Aha. I think we kind of answered that though, didn't we? Or
we kind of did, and of course, always have to say, being selfish and self-centered as I am, the peace and fucking serenity that I have in my life today, I like the way it feels, and I'm not giving it up.
Right. Yeah, and that is so true, And once again, life can get lifey and shit can get shitty and and all that stuff. And I just sat down. What was it last night? Because I just booked the last leg of my trip. I'm going to be in the place in Lake of the Ozarks again. Not the same place. I found a place that has a washer and dryer, and then they just happen to have a dishwasher in it too. It's a fucking 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo for relatively speaking, for places that I could rent at this time of year, different places for relatively nothing. I don't mean it's not like below cost or anything like that, but it's about average. But I'm like, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I mean, I may just sleep in all the bedrooms on different nights.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Just shit in every toilet. I mean, why not? But I was just like, anyhow. So after I booked that, again, all this stuff is affordable, but I sat down and I figured out my bills because I get paid this coming week. And again, December was a slow month. My commission check is less, and I'm figuring all this stuff out. I'm like, wait a second, let me redo the math. And I'm like everything's paid for, but I'm looking at this bottom number, the money I have left over the the next 2-week period. I'm like, that's not a lot,
Right.
But here's the thing, and what I was telling myself, because I have to, because I start to freak out a little bit. Is that I'm like, I have everything figured in. I have figured in down to my grocery money, what I spend every week.
Right.
And I mean, this is for everything, what I spend, whether I go to Walmart or Aldi or this and that. And, I've been actually spending usually a little bit less every week. So there's a little bit of cushion, kind of floatiness in there. I don't do anything out of the ordinary. I might go to that restaurant. Well, that's not till Amarillo anyhow. But I mean, all these different things that I'm looking at, I'm like, but everything's fucking paid and I still have this amount left.
Yeah, right.
Just in case. And I got a credit card. I mean, I can, if anything weird happened, I'm like, what the fuck are you complaining about? What are you stressing about, you dumb
Right. What are you worried about?
I mean, really, I'm like, all my bills are paid literally. And this includes paying out fucking $700 in payments to these trips I've been on. But I don't have any rent. Okay. So the money I'm paying out in January it's a little bit more than what I'd normally spend. But in all these trips, again, this is 7 fucking weeks of shit. And specific places I wanted to go, and in one place needed to be as far as Phoenix goes.
Right.
So I'm spending a little bit more money on this, and don't get me wrong, it's a lot, but I can afford it, which is fucking cool. But still it comes back to Jesus Christ, I mean, what the fuck do I got to worry about? But I still, you want to, again, these are the, life gets lifey and I get stressed about things. I don't need to be stressed about that because I'm out doing things that I want to do.
Right.
And I can afford it. I just have, I don't have fuck you money like we were talking about.
Well, yeah.
Or fucking money. What fucking money were we talking about? Fucking money.
Yeah, right. Fuck it money. Fuck you money. Fuck me money.
Fuck me. Yeah, I'm not spending my monies on cocaine and whores. Speaking of fuck me money, so. And I'm literally, I mean, I'm having a starting off good this month. I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 months I should get kicked up to the next level, which I mean literally that's huge, from an income standpoint. And so all this different, got good things on the horizon. But can I tell you 2 more things about Albuquerque?
Please do. One
I have a question for you. So
okay.
Well, no, this is a statement, I guess, to begin with. Sorry. So I get here and again, I'm kind of it was. And again, you've driven around this area, but I've never been to New Mexico before. Okay. So I'm like a fucking kid. I stop at this rest area. I'm taking a picture of the fucking sky and a mountain in the distance, just in a goddamn rest area. I'm like, fuck, this is so fucking beautiful.
Right.
But, you drive for a fucking hour with no place to stop, so.
Yeah.
No big deal. But I'm just driving in kind of like little hilly things and whatever. My ears are popping here and there, but not really thinking much of it. So I got here, got everything loaded in, or brought into the place in here, and my contacts were kind of dry. So I pulled out my contact solution, the actual jar of it or the container of it, and I opened the top, and it's like, like it was pressurized.
Right.
And I'm like, that's weird. What it reminded me of was when we were in Breckenridge when Kimmy and Brian got married.
Right.
And that elevation was like almost 10,000 feet or whatever like that. Denver's 5,000, whatever. So I looked it up. So do you know what the elevation is here in Albuquerque?
It's up there. I know that.
Yeah.
It's what? Yeah, it's like 4 or 5.
It's 5,312 feet.
Yeah.
And then it makes it so this is the other thing I didn't know because it, right away AI tells me this. It's the highest metropolitan city in America. And I'm like, really? But then they must talk about, they made a point of saying metropolitan city. Geographical center of Mexico, which obviously I knew. But like I'm like, well, how does this compare to Denver? Denver is 5,280. This is 5312.
Right. Yeah.
And then where I'm going to be in Prescott, which is where I'm staying after Phoenix, that's like almost 5,400. My point, though, is that I have been, because I dealt with this, we were only in Breckenridge for 2 days.
Right.
Basically less than 48 hours. And I mean, my head was killing me in Breckenridge. Denver wasn't that bad. But I've been stuffed up completely. The sinuses are fucking killing me. I haven't really slept that well because I can't breathe. And I know what it is. It's the elevation, So, I'm like, I had no fucking idea. So I'm like, well, I could never live here.
Because you get used to it.
Well, and somebody had said though that, like in like Denver or Breckenridge, for instance, like you got to be in these higher elevations for at least 3 days and then you'll even out.
Right.
I haven't evened out.
Right.
So, but again, I don't. It's a sinus thing. It's not that bad, but I swear to God, I've gone through a box and a half of Kleenex already because it's that bad, But maybe I would acclimate, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, it was just fucking weird. I didn't know. I didn't know about, not that it would have stopped me from coming here, but I just didn't know. But so I know you haven't watched Breaking Bad. Anyone who listens to this who saw the pictures I posted, I'm in the process of finishing up. It's going to take me another couple of days, maybe till the middle of the week, middle of next week to get it all done on the website. But I'm going to have the pictures, not all of them, but pictures of each place I went, plus the address and a little explanation of where these places were. That in itself was kind of fun, because again, watching this TV show, and I'm watching it now, again, I'm like, I was fucking there last weekend. Like I was there.
Right.
So all that stuff was kind of cool, but I tell you what was really fucking cool. Have you ever been? I think it's got to be all reservation land where I went out in the desert. Actually, I know it is. Have you ever been out in those areas? Like driven? They're kind of off the beaten path. It's off Highway 40 where I went, which you probably went through there.
Yeah.
But going back into there, and I didn't stay too long because two things. First of all, you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no cell service. It's quiet and it's so when I just sat there for a minute, probably 5 or 10 minutes, I was just standing there kind of looking around and you can't hear anything,
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it was nice. It warmed up a little bit and I'm standing on top of this one rock formation, not really high, but I'm just looking around. I'm like, this is just, again, the mountains, North Carolina, the other one's all beautiful and stuff. This is all different. There's no foliage out there, but I'm looking, I'm like all the colors in the sun and I'm just like, my mind was fucking blown, But the other thing that I heard is there was some people that had posted on this one website where I got all these addresses from that they were actually chased off by some of the folks from the reservation saying, "Hey, this is private property, get the fuck out," type of thing.
Right.
And I want to be mindful. I'm not out there fucking with people,
Mm-hmm.
But there was this, it's funny. So I'm driving up this fucking road and basically what the guy said that I got the information from, he's like, turn on this tribal road, whatever it was, 7 something. And he goes, just drive and keep an eye out until you see the rock formation. And it's an odd type of rock formation, little points on it. So I'm just fucking driving. And then there's this Tesla sitting on the side of the road. I'm like, well, a bad place to fucking break down, But then there's just there, you could tell they're trying to look at something. I'm like, God, they're probably trying to find this place where I'm going.
Yeah.
So, I drove up and I pulled in, and then I saw them drive by, and then they pulled back. So as I'm walking around, it's a guy, and then 2 girls. They're probably in their 20s, and they're kind of over on the other side walking around. And Walter White is the main character. I think you know that.
Right. Yeah.
So she just screams it out. She's like, Walter White. And then the guy that's with her, he's like, shut the fuck up, man. He goes, I'm leaving if you keep that up, whatever. But then I'm like, you fucked up my piece too,
Right.
I'm sitting there just soaking this in. Then she's like, Jesse Pinkman, which is the other one. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. But all the running around, that's the only other people I saw, like sightseeing. But
right.
Apparently like 300 people a day go by Walter White's house. That's the first place I stopped. But seriously, the desert, that was like an hour and a half just driving back and forth, 45 minutes each way. And then, I spent probably half hour, 45 minutes out there. But oh my God, it was just highly recommended. I'll have that place stock. I can't completely map it for anyone who looks at the website once I have it done, but I'll give the same directions that the guy gave to me, and I found it without any issue. I highly recommend it if you come out there, even if you don't care about Breaking Bad, just take a fucking drive out there, because it's fucking mind blowing.
Cool.
So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the kicking around, but man, that desert, just unfucking believable. So I'm a fan. I'm a definite fan.
All right.
All right. So this is one that I wrote down. This might have been from the 24-hour book recently. It asked, have I learned that there is power in humility? Okay. Now that's one thing, but I have a question to this. What actually is, because I think that, well, let's do that first. So have you learned that there's power in humility?
Working on it.
That's a fair answer. I mean,
right. No, I mean, I know the concept. Yes. Yeah. I'm like all the other choices that we have, being humble, we're not in control of everything. And there's power in that. There's power in letting go and knowing that we're not running the show. That it's nice. It frees up a lot of energy to actually do things that we can do. Right. Yeah. So I understand the concept. Still working on it.
Because my question was, and this is kind of like what is, going back to a famous Bill Clinton line, what is. But so my question was, and what popped into my head is like, what actually is the power and humility? Okay, so we get a power, but what do we get from? You know what I mean? I mean, what does that actually mean? Or is it basically just what you said, realizing that there's, that we're not the only thing, and I don't know, just. Is that kind of what the power is? It's just realizing
that's it? Exactly. Okay. Again, the lack of control gives us energy to, back to the serenity prayer, which we did last week, to change the things we can, let the rest of the shit go. There's a lot of power in that, I find.
Right. Yeah, and it's just I wasn't trying to be like completely stupid about it, but or trying to make a joke out of it. But I was like, okay, yeah, I realize there's power in it, but what is it? I mean, what is the power? What do I get? But yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean, just realizing it's comforting, realizing that we don't have to, or I'll speak for myself, realizing that I don't have to make all the decisions. I don't have to do all the work. I don't have to make all the plans. I don't have to. I don't have to figure everything out.
Right.
Everything isn't necessarily figured out for me, and everyone doesn't make all the plans. But I'm allowed to have a part in it, and part of that is just the books, the meetings, the steps, all those different things.
Right.
And then the other part of it is being able to walk up to anyone that's in recovery, any fucking meeting, anywhere you go, being like, "What do you think about this? I need some help."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And nobody's trying to, hold the secret, for themselves or anything like that, which is beautiful. It's so different than any other thing in life. People aren't trying to just be selfish. I mean, we're selfish and self-centered, but we also are very giving, which is fucking weird. It's with both.
Yeah. Well, again, we're giving because we have to be, because that's how we get to keep the shit that we have. Right.
Well, yeah, if I
give
didn't,
it away to keep it. Hey, heard
I
that
could,
somewhere before.
if I could just be selfish and self-centered, but God damn it, I got to give it away. I've got to be, I've got to be humble. I've got to have humility. I've got to be all that different shit. Fuck.
Yep.
But okay, so yeah, that was just kind of a, I don't know. Again, reading some of these things, it just gives me, if it makes me pause for a minute, then I just put it on the list. I'm like,
right.
we'll figure it out on the podcast. But speaking of that, this is from a podcast. I don't know which one I was listening to recently, Sober Podcast, but the guest said that she can't wait until the day where society doesn't put shame on a non-drinker or a sober individual. Okay. So do you want me to repeat that or just ask you my question?
Yeah. Ask the question.
Okay. What do you think about that, Mike?
I personally don't give a shit one way or another. Because I'm not giving shame to anyone who is sober or doesn't drink or whatever. I mean, I understand because I've been on the other side of it. What do you mean you don't drink? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah, but no, I don't do it. And if someone wants to do it to me, I don't care. I fucking don't. You want to look down on me because I'm sober? You want to look down on me because I don't drink? Okay. That's your fucking problem. And I got nothing to do with it one way or another. And I'm moving on. So I'm,
Right.
yeah, hoping for the day. God, I don't know. Hoping for the day everyone's nice to each other. Hoping for, fuck, man. Again, talk about wasting your time and burning calories on shit that's never going to happen.
Right.
I just, all I could do is control myself, and I can't do that all that well. So, what do I care what someone else does?
Well, and here was the reason that, and I know why I wrote this one down, because I I don't think that I don't think the majority of people put shame on anyone who doesn't drink these days, and I'll tell you why I think this. Two reasons: that people are pussies these days.
Right.
Nobody wants to. Okay, unless you're evil or you're truly deranged or fucked up in the head or just whatever the case is. Most people that live along the guidelines of decent society or live within the guidelines of decent society see what's going on in the climate these days. It's like everyone's able to read the room,
Right.
and everyone realizes that, well, it's probably not a good idea to say this, that, and the other thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that in and of itself, people don't, you could walk into a fucking party with a zit the size of a golf ball on your forehead, and I will guarantee you 60% of the people in the room wouldn't say a fucking word about it because they're like, they don't know what it is. I don't want to offend somebody. It's a big fucking zit on his head. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, but so that's number one. But the other thing is, if you, and I mean anyone, spends any time on any social media, read any articles, do any searches, anything like that, there has been such a twist and a turn in the whole sobriety movement,
Right.
and there are so many more people out there, and they're young people too. They're not just old, crotchety fucks like us that needed to get sober. There's people out there that are non-drinkers, living sober lives, living alcohol-free lives. And when people say it's a movement, it's not just a movement, it's a whole societal thing that's happening out there. And I don't remember who we were talking about, but I agree with it. Maybe Matt from Sober Friends was talking about the non-alcoholic beverage market. When you take a look at any market like that, that's turned into $1 billion industry, they see what's happening. If it's $1 billion industry, that means there's people out there consuming that sort of thing.
Right.
It's not just a few groups that are sitting in church basements. So it's just those two things that when I listened to that, when the person said it, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Where are you spending any time?
Right.
Because people don't shame people anymore in almost any circumstance, certainly not for a sobriety thing. But to your point, I wasn't thinking about this part, is that yeah, somebody says that to me, I would laugh because I wouldn't know what else to do. I would laugh and I'd walk away. I'd be like, what's okay. And I think I'd walk away because I'd be like, really? You're going to, the life that I built for myself, I don't have a lot of material shit, but the life that you and I have built for ourselves, and you're gonna criticize me?
Right. You're gonna try to shit on this? Good luck.
you think I'm gonna be bothered by it?
Exactly.
Okay, let's take a walk down memory lane. Come with me 15 years ago. Okay. I'll tell you where I was, and then you tell me what you think.
Exactly.
It kind of blew my mind, but I don't see that sort of thing happening. I don't see people shamed. There's still shit going on out there. There's still dickheads and assholes and whatever. But
right, and there's always going to be, which was kind of my point in the first place. I want everyone to love everyone all the time. Never gonna fucking happen. Never has, never will.
Yeah, it was funny. And they've said it for years. Again, the morning show I listened to, the radio show, they said that if you had a group of people that were all they just pick whatever you want. They're all 5'10". They all have brown hair and blue eyes. They all have the same religious beliefs, the same job, the same background, live in the same town. They'll still find a reason to hate each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, that is so fucking true. It's
right.
just
I mean, Dr. Seuss, man, Star-Bellied Sneetches. Just go fucking read it. It's all right there.
I was gonna say I don't even know if I know what that is. I probably do, but star-bellied what?
Sneetches. Yeah, stars upon thars. The Sneetches, the ones with the stars hated the ones without. The ones without hated the ones with. And then they started getting all mixed up. And go read the book. It's wonderful. It tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I think I will. And speaking of this, and it's kind of funny that you brought this up. It has nothing to do with one. Dr. Seuss doesn't have anything to do with this, but along the same lines. And I don't know where I started thinking about it, but Schoolhouse Rock, talk about learning things. But I actually made a note about Schoolhouse Rock.
All right.
And my question to you was, as a kid, did it help you learn? Do you think it actually helped you learn?
No, I learned some stuff from it. Absolutely.
It was the more and more I think about it. Well, I literally have I didn't hear a commercial or anything like that. I just thought about it. But 8th grade, we had to learn the preamble to the Constitution, and our test was to write it down or write it out. That was our test. Okay. And you remember the Schoolhouse Rock, right? It was a whole fucking song. We the People, but they sang an entire fucking song. I not only passed my test, I got a fucking A on that test because of Schoolhouse Rock. I sat there to myself and sang the entire song to myself as I wrote out the preamble to our Constitution.
Yep.
And it was so fucking great. But yeah, just when you brought up that, Dr. Seuss, everything's there, learn everything. I'm like, God, that's kind of fucking weird. But yeah, Schoolhouse Rock, I think we played that. Dawn and I played that for Derek and Alec when they were kids. They were kind of Looney Tunes also was another thing that they Derek and Alec loved Looney Tunes cartoons. But
I learned a lot from those too.
Yeah, so did I. Those are definitely my favorite. But same thing. We used to sit there, we'd watch them with our grandpa, with our uncles, and with our dad. And the adults would always be laughing harder than we did because there was obviously adult humor in there.
Right.
Never understood that until I started watching them as an adult.
Right.
And I'm like, these are fucking awesome, man.
Absolutely.
All right. So what's the Dr. Seuss book again? Plug that again for anyone else out there.
It's I don't even know if it's a full book. I know it's one of his stories. It's the Star-Bellied Sneetches. I don't know that. I don't even know if that's the title. I don't know. I don't remember. I just know it's one of his stories, and it's basically everything you need to know about racism. It's like the Star Trek episode with the two guys. One of them's Frank Gorshin. I know that. That's one guy's. Their faces are split. One side's white, one side's black, but the sides are different on these two guys, and they hate each other. Right, one side, the right side is white, and the left side is black, and the other guy, the left side is white, and the right side's black, and they're at fucking war with each other because the sides are different. Yep, same thing.
It is. It's It's fucking life. It just I don't know that I've ever heard that before. So that's funny. That's actually funny.
Yeah, I know there was an animated because I remember seeing the cartoon of it too. They animated it at one point. I'll have to look it up on YouTube, see if it's there.
Oh, I'm sure. I was just gonna say it's fucking everything's on YouTube.
Right.
All right. So from Keep It Simple, was talking about the we of the program. Okay. So my question is, when did you really grasp on to that concept, the concept of the we of the program?
Well, let's see. How about the first night I was in the Keating Center? Right. Yeah, shit, man. Being a loner and a rebel and all that good stuff, Dottie. I can't do this shit alone. Yeah, I seriously freaked out first night at the Keating Center. Endo's kid was in the bunk next to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And just talked to him and got a little mellowed out just talking to this kid. Christ, he was 18, I think.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. I was fucking 42, and this kid just going, "Hey man, it's going to be all right. Don't worry about it." Thanks, kid. Right.
Yeah. And I would say probably well, definitely would have been. Well, shit, that first weekend when, and I know I told the story, and I know it was before you got there, because you got there on like that Monday or Tuesday, right? Or no, Wednesday.
I got there on Wednesday. Yep.
Yeah, because we went to West Park.
Yeah,
I remember that your story.
Yep.
So
they threw me in the back of a van, no seats, right? A cargo van. Get in the back of this van, kid.
Yeah, this might have been. I don't even know what fucking day it was. It was one of the first few days that I was there, and again, the story that we obviously had lunch or dinner or whatever it was, and cleaned up everything. That was a weird part. Fucking everyone cleaning up, and then somebody didn't push in a chair, and we're all sitting outside, smoking cigarettes under the tent, and Marty opens the door. He's like, "Everyone, get your asses back in here." And I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't know what's going on."
Right.
And then he's like, "Somebody let the chair out, clean the entire thing again." And in my head, I'm like, "Are you fucking nuts?" Which he is,
right?
But yeah, made us clean the. It didn't take that long. However many guys are there, but still,
Right.
he literally made us clean the entire thing again. And I'll tell you one thing, man. To this day I don't leave chairs pulled out.
Right. Oh yeah.
And it's I haven't thought about that in years, but it was just when I was in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, there was a small table, and I would sit down and eat lunch, and then obviously got up, put the chair back in. I remember walking out after whatever I was done with lunch, and I walked back out to get coffee, and it was like a little bit. It wasn't pushed out, but a little crooked, so I straightened it.
Yeah.
And that just literally popped into my head now. I didn't think about it at the time. It's just what I do.
Yeah.
But he fucking ingrained it in my head, 14, almost 15 years ago,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I guess that's, and then everything getting to meetings, getting around, figuring out what to do, sitting there in group. We lived and died, by each other. So
yes.
I just thought it was an interesting one because I didn't think about it when I wrote it down, but yeah, sitting there and talking to somebody like that right away. And I know Vince, obviously ran me around, and then you remember Keith, tall Keith?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he befriended me, and he was running me around to, with him to meetings and stuff like that. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing,
Right.
I just followed everyone else.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, what the fuck else do you do? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where to go.
I don't know what I'm doing. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, God, first night there, and I forgot that Aaron's kid was there. And he couldn't have been more than 18.
Right. Yeah.
There was a couple of people we had in there that were really young, but he was definitely one of the youngest ones during the time we were there. So, okay, so I ran across an article yesterday or the day before. drunk driving statistics for 2025.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, this would have been for 2024.
Right.
Where was the drunk driving in the United States? Okay, so how many number of fatal accidents, alcohol-related fatal accidents, do you think were in 2022? Was this in the U.S.? Yeah, this was in the United States. That doesn't seem like a lot.
I'm what?
Oh yeah, this is fatalities. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
probably
fatalities. Yeah, it's probably 1,500 to 2,000, somewhere in there.
In the United States.
Yeah.
So 13,000.
Oh, okay.
That's why I looked for a minute. I'm like, God, is that? I'm like, oh, God, that is holy shit. Oh fuck! I just lost the article. Hang on one second.
All right.
But there's some other statistics in here. Was talking by, God damn. Oh, this is fucking irritating me. You pop into the article and I got these little pop-ups. I'm trying to scroll and I hit part of the pop-up and I keep going into a different thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the top 5 states for the highest percentage of fatal accidents involving intoxicated drivers. Top 5 states. What do you think?
Well, Wisconsin's got to be in there.
Nope.
No. Well, you guys got to try harder. Nevada.
Nope. So
really?
There's one is DC, 39%. Highest percentage, but yeah, 39% of the fatalities have an intoxicated driver. Rhode Island was the number 1 with 43%.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Highest percentage of fatal accidents involving an intoxicated driver. Which that kind of, but I mean, and I wonder if that's like, because again, Rhode Island's small, small state. It doesn't say per capita. Highest rate of, okay, here we go. Top 5 states, Wisconsin is not in here. The 5 states with the highest rate of DUI arrests as a portion of the state's total arrests. Okay. Huh. So out of the total arrests, these are the top 5 states with the highest percentage. Okay. So out of the top 5, even just take a stab at one. I'm not going to make you guess all over the place.
Mississippi.
No. Let's see. The farthest south. Oh God, there none in the south. Oh. Pennsylvania is number 1 with a 19%. Vermont 18%. Minnesota 17%. Washington State just under 17%, and then Wyoming 15.5%. So it just it's crazy when I mean there's a whole list of fatalities and stuff like that, but they talk about cost of drunk driving and blah blah blah. I think we all know the cost of it, but some of that just I was looking at and it just kind of popped up. Imagine that, I mean I because sometimes I'm reading sober articles and things like that. I started getting alcohol ads on my Facebook feed. Which is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's because, again, if I'm posting stuff about alcohol related things that are somehow in the sober, I don't know, however it is, but I'm like, delete.
Right.
The fucking ads. I'm like, I don't need a fucking ad for some fucking cognac or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of weird. I mean, usually you get ads based on things you're searching for, which I'm not.
Right.
You know what I wonder is literally after, because it was, what day was this? The day I put this article in was Wednesday, and I started seeing the alcohol ads on Thursday. So that's what it was. I looked up the DUI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that now? That's fucked up. I mean, seriously, when you think about that, that's got to be what it is. Because I know what it is. There's cookies on websites, and that's how shit will end up showing up. Right. But that's the only. That's fucking messed up. Some dude's looking up DUI stuff. Is like, oh, need some booze? Here you go.
Yeah, here you go.
But yeah, that has to be
help you right along.
Yeah, because it was yesterday that I saw there was 2 liquor ads and then some beer ad that I got just yesterday, and I've never gotten alcohol ads on my Facebook feed. But yeah, that's yesterday or Wednesday was when I looked up that DUI thing. You know what? There you go. With people in society being fucked up, right? That's just that's messed up. I mean, I'm not really bothered by it. It just kind of blows my mind a little bit. So, okay, couple of final things. I heard still listening to the Alex Van Halen book. He got sober in 1987. So I was like, I had no idea, because I think both you and I had no idea that he was sober. But
right.
And then here's the other thing that was kind of, he started talking about, obviously their first album and stuff like that, which it was so funny. I'm listening to this on the way out here from Oklahoma City. So they start talking about, again, the first Van Halen record, the making, whatever. So I'm like, I need to fucking listen to that. So I paused his book. I listened to the whole album on Spotify. And then, of course, after that, they come back and he's talking about, the second album. Like, well, I need to listen to that. So it's the same goddamn thing. I mean, I was in the car for fucking 8 hours,
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the book, listening to Van Halen, learning about Cuba. But so I don't know if you've ever heard this. This blew my mind. So he said the opening sound to "Running with the Devil," that lead in. Just, do you know what that is? The sound. It's it's literally a box full of car horns. And he said what they did was they take all this shit, like when they first started doing like pyrotechnics and stuff like that. They made their own, and they're blowing shit up just on their own, just doing all these different things. And they would just, scramble together, and, Eddie's making up his own guitars and, ripping things down, and which, I mean, I'd heard that before.
Right.
But he said, yeah, what they did was they took all these different car horns out of different cars, of course, and put them into a box. And they used to use that on stage, just like a noisemaker type of thing.
Right.
And what they did was they, whoever produced their record, I can't remember the guy's name.
Ted Templeton.
There you go. So what he ended up doing was, obviously it was the box. So if you listen to it, it's because I did. And that's when I started listening to the album.
Right.
And then he said what he did was he just slowed it down at the end, and then they came in with the bass. And I'm like, that is fucking awesome. And then I went listen to it. I mean, I'm listening to fucking Running with the Devil. When did it come out? 78?
Yeah, right.
I mean, 50 fucking years almost. And I've been listening to that fucking album for 48 years, and I never knew it was a box of fucking car horns.
Nice.
So I was just interested. I didn't know if I figured if anyone that I know knew that might have been you, but that just fucking blew my mind.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense. And now that you say that, I go, oh yeah, that's exactly what that is.
I know. And then when I turned it on, I'm like, yeah, it's same. I did the same goddamn thing. I'm like, yeah, well, of course that's what it is. Why wouldn't it be? All right. So one last thing. Did you hear about Denise Richards blew out a breast?
No, I did not.
Well, obviously, you know who Denise Richards is. If anyone doesn't know who Denise Richards is, look her up and then watch the movie Wild Things. It's softcore porn, if nothing else. But so she's on a show called what is it? Fucking Special Forces. Okay, it's a bunch of celebrities that actually get paired up with these Special Forces teams and blah blah blah. I think what is it, like Stephen Baldwin, Denise Richards? I can't remember the other people on it. It's just another fucking celebrity reality show,
right?
But apparently there was part of it where they were jumping off a bridge or something like that. And I don't know if when they jumped off the bridge. Oh yeah, it says I jumped off a bridge too, and that's when I ruptured my implants off of that thing. And that's like, there's like no other explanation. They brought it up on the morning show. I'm like, she fucking blew out a tire, man. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? I mean, did they have her? They must have had her in a harness or something like that.
Right.
I didn't read the article enough, but I'm just like, okay, so question, because maybe you would know. You know things. So if you had a breast implant and you blew one out, I mean, you can die from that shit, can't you? I mean, because that could leak into you.
Well, depends on what was in the implant. If it was a silicone one or a saline one. If it's a saline one, you're fine.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't met her and don't know what the composition of her breast implants are.
All right, so if anyone listening wants to look that up and do the research and get back to us.
Yeah, please do.
I just don't feel, it'll be fun. A little homework for somebody out there. Look up Denise Richards and ruptured breasts and get back to us on that. Because I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, I thought to me, like, she fucking blew a tire. but I'm like, that's kind of fucked up because I mean, obviously the only way to fix it, you got to get fucking cut open and throw a new one in there. But
right.
I'm just like, that sucks. It's a bad way to end off any day. Is well, what'd you do today at work, honey? Well, I blew out a tit.
Yeah, you're not going to throw a patch on that.
Right. Yeah, not gonna just not gonna plug that one up and keep going on. Okay. So anything else? Anything? I mean, I get other things on here, but it's getting to be about that time, and it's late. It's almost 6:30 where I'm at. But no, just fucking around. Do you get anything else? Anything else going on with you? Anything fun things from the week or all good?
No, not a goddamn thing. No, work and blah 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 blah. No.
All right. So, well, I guess it's your turn then. I guess we're done. Are we done?
Are you through yet?
Are you through yet? Go grab a towel.
Right. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other. Go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. Let's see. And now, from the bottom of my heart, from the heart of my bottom, to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. And now, it's that time, kids. Boy, is it that time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
You're doing fucking Shakespeare or something. To fuck off or not to fuck off?
That is the question.
That is the question. All right, I got one more quick thing I forgot. Remember Camelback Mountain I was telling you about? I was getting all riled up. I'm like, I'm going to go climb this fucking mountain. I can do whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to. So I started reading the reviews of just, okay, this a couple of people are just really honest. They're like, first of all, really fucking busy. It's hard. You know, all people coming up, coming back down. You got to leave space. I'm like, I don't think I want any part of that. I could deal with it, but, you know. But the guy's like, he goes, this is, take my word for it. You know, some people are like, it's hard, it's this and that, blah, blah, blah. Take your time. This one guy's like, I'm going to be honest. I've read the other reviews. He goes, this is a hard hike. He goes, if you have bad knees, and I'm like, check. If you're not in pretty good shape, check.
Ding.
Or if you have any other ailments, and I'm like, fuck me. I'm like, I don't even know what ailments I may have.
Right. I'm an alcoholic. I can't climb that mountain.
But, you know, the basic thing is like, because I've had other people like, hard trails, whatever. But this guy was just one of the recent reviews. He's like, listen, this is the deal, you know, kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, thank you. There's another trail that's kind of out in the desert. It's a little bit more like a moderate one that I can go on. So I'm going to do that in the morning. And then we've got that meeting I was telling you about before we got on. And then we'll see if we'll watch the Packers win or lose. But yeah, your Lions don't they don't have to play till next week. So
no, they don't. They stomped all over those Vikings.
Yeah, they sure as fuck did. The Vikings couldn't they couldn't spell football that night. So
nope. Sure as hell couldn't spell touchdown.
Yeah, that's for goddamn sure. But yeah, I just want to let you know I don't think I'm gonna die on Sunday. If I die, it's not gonna be from falling off. At least it's not gonna be from falling off Camelback Mountain. So just so you know.
Go visit Camelback High School.
I could go find a camel toe. Hello. All right. On that note, you know what? I love you, brother.
I love you too.
I know we'll talk soon.
We shall.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.